Hello everybody and welcome back. I've filmed this intro like 3 or 4 times now, so let's hope that I can get it right. So if you are anything like me, I've spent a majority of quarantine going through my closet and going through old pieces, and I filled about a whole garbage bag of things that I wanted to donate. But then it hit me, why not try to upcycle a few of the pieces and make them cute into something that I would want to wear. And that inspired this video of trying to kind of recreate and turn old pieces into things that spark joy and things that I love. If it looks like this video has been filmed over the course of a month, that's because it has. Yeah, I don't know, I just took a long time doing it. It's just how life goes. I've moved, so many things have happened in between, but nevertheless, I'm really excited about how all the pieces turned out. So let's just get on into it. So the first piece that we are going to be attempting to transform in this video is this kind of red cropped cable knit sweater. It has an oddly wide boat neck, but honestly my main qualm with this sweater is that I just hate the color. Like, it's so aggressively fall, and with blue jeans it just looks like early 2000s Tumblr, and with black jeans it's just, I don't know, it ain't it. So the inspiration I have, I'll put it somewhere over here, is this kind of one shoulder tank top that is also cable knit, and I'm just obsessed with it. It is so cute. I have no idea where it's from. It probably is really expensive and I'm not here for it. So the first order of business is I'm going to try to dye this sweater. This is either going to go really badly and ruin the whole thing, or it's going to be really cool. So I don't actually know what color I'm trying to dye it to. All I know is that I don't want this color any longer. Okay, it is the next day. I am seriously so excited. This is like the most excited I've been all month. So last night I went ahead and I dyed the sweater. So I bought some Rip fabric dye remover and I literally just followed the instructions on the box. I brought a big pot of water to a simmer. I dissolved the powder in there and then I threw the sweater in for 10 to 15 minutes about, and you guys, I cannot believe how this turned out. Look at this color. It is literally a brand new sweater. I'm kind of obsessed. I don't really want to cut it now, but for the sake of commitment, we are committing to this DIY and we are going to do it. But I seriously cannot believe how this turned out. I'm obsessed with this color. It's kind of everything. So this is the general idea that I'm thinking. So the inspiration picture has like this one shoulder, really thin strap, and then it kind of lays flush to the chest. So I'm thinking, because this has such a wide neck, I'm gonna do something like this and chop off this sleeve maybe, then maybe follow this seam going up here to maybe prevent as much unraveling as I can. Then we'll remove this sleeve and maybe take it in a little more so it's form-fitting. That is the tentative plan, so we will see how that works out. Alright, to start, I turned this bad boy out and then I started seam ripping along the seam that connects the sleeve to the rest of the sweater, and for the life of me, could not find my seam ripper, but that's okay. I just went in really slowly with scissors, which is not ideal, but gotta do what you gotta do. This is the progress that we have made. As you can see, so I went along that seam that I showed earlier, seam drip it all the way around the back, and so far I don't have too much of bad unraveling, so I'm pretty happy with that. So the next step is to kind of figure out how we want it fitted. I do want this to be a little bit more of a fitted style, so thinking that I kind of want to do something like this and like this. So I think the next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to give just kind of like a rough marker for myself and then take it off and pin it, and then maybe do a little hand stitch and then try it back on so we can see how it fits. So after lots of pinning and then trying on and then repinning and retrying on and lots of adjusting, this is the final measurements where I thought it fit the best. So remember, this is going to be the one shoulder and this is going to be the sleeve that we're going to keep remaining. And all I did was pin and then hand sew along these lines, and then I'm just going to stitch. Now we're looking a little cray-cray with this until we cut it off, but all I did was sew on those 2 lines that I showed with the zigzag stitch, and then I cut it off, turned it right side out, and this is the deal. I think it fits really well so far. Now I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with this kind of one shoulder situation. I'm trying to decide if I like it a little bit thinner, or since this is kind of a chunkier sweater, maybe just going with like a chunkier strap. I think I need to play around with it a little more and see how we feel. So once I had cut off the sleeve, I decided I wanted a little bit of a thicker strap. So I went in and I measured about 2.5 inches from where the neckline starts. And I went ahead and I pinned that all along the sleeve just to make sure it was the same thickness all along the strap. And then I just sewed along that line where I pinned and ended up with this final result. I am so happy with how this turned out. It beyond exceeded my expectations, and I will be happily living out my sweater tank top dreams. Okay, alrighty, the second piece is this like pair of mom shorts. They're like light wash blue, they're high-waisted, and they're like mid Bermuda, mid short. I am so happy this is back and it's trendy now because I am not a fan of jean shorts. If you know me, I never ever wear jean shorts. They're just super uncomfortable. I don't think they're flattering on my body type, but I'm really excited to try this. So the starting piece that I have is this pair of Wrangler dad shorts. They're just too big. That's pretty much it. Everything else about them I love. I love the wash, and I like how they fit everywhere else except the waist. Now I know that there's 1,000,001 ways and tutorials of how to take in pants on YouTube, and I did my due diligent research. I think I found the best and easiest way to do it. I'll link that video down below. It's a little more in depth than what I'm going to show in this video, but let's get on to look number 2. So I started this project off by removing the belt loops and seam ripping down either sides of the shorts. I then also went in and I pinned both sides just to kind of give myself a general idea of how much fabric I want to take off on both sides and give myself a good idea of how they were going to fit. So then I went in and I marked up with just like a yellow crayon, kind of following the curve of my body, starting wider off at the top and tapering towards the bottom to meet up with the original seam. I ended up taking off about 1.5 inches around the waist and 1 inch around my hips, also making sure that the line that I created didn't fall on top of the little metal rivets that holds the corner of the pockets. Once I had that line drawn, I went ahead and I cut off the excess fabric, and a little tip is to take the fabric from the first side that you cut off, line it up with the other side so that you can ensure that you're taking off the same amount of fabric on either side. Once you have that all cut up and squared out, you are good to go ahead and turn it inside out and then really carefully pin all of the layers together, making sure that the pockets and all the different parts are lined and flattened correctly. Once you are all pinned and lined up, you are finally ready to sew along both sides, continuing the seam, and your finished product should be looking something like this. So I purposely left out the waistband because we're going to be taking care of that in the next step. There's kind of a shitty way to do this and a proper way to do this, and I will try my best to explain. So the proper way is to take the waistband, unfold it, and sew a straight line through both sides, making sure that the right sides are together so that when it's turned right side out, you have a continuous waistband on the inside and outside. However, let me emphasize, when you are doing this, you need to take extra care to make sure that it is lined up. Otherwise, it turns out like this, and it won't lay flat, and you just seam rip it, and start over, and it is so frustrating. But when you do it correctly, it looks like this, and it's really seamless, and it honestly looks like you never even took it in. So repeat those steps for the other side, and you have perfectly fitting mom shorts. The last step is to put the belt loops back on and play around with the shorter length if you like, and you are done and ready to live out your mom short fantasies. Last but not least, we are on to the last one. So you will notice a big time jump here because I think I filmed this last one like 3 weeks later than I filmed the first two, but I still thought I would just throw it in here anyway. I've just been really inspired by like a square kind of neckline and really thick straps. So that's kind of the look that I went for this next one, but I'll just cut to it. So the starting piece is this kind of faux leather spandexy bodycon dress that I got from Forever 21 for like $12. And College Lisa really thought she was doing something with this dress, but I literally never wore it. It still has the tag on it. But nevertheless, we're going to turn it into something wearable. So the first step is to straighten out the neckline, and I did this by cutting off the straps and the top two kind of triangles on the front and back of the dress. And this left me with something looking like this. It has like a tube top-esque neckline now, which is going to be perfect for attaching straps later. Then the next thing I did was cut off the hem and the excess fabric at the bottom, so now it is an appropriate lengthed top. And then keeping the excess fabric later because we're going to use it to make some straps. I went ahead and I took the excess fabric and I made 2 equal size kind of like large rectangles with what I had left. So I took these 2 straps and we're going to take it and we're going to pin it right sides together, and we are going to sew all along this line and then turn it right side out to kind of have this nice thick strap. We're going to do that for both sides and then we will be right back. The rest is honestly pretty straightforward. All I'm going to do is pin the front and the back. I don't have a dress form, so I'm just going to do it on myself and hopefully I don't poke myself. I think one thing that I think will really complete the look is having the straps a little farther out to the sides and on the back, and it'll create more of the square neckline and kind of like silhouette that I'm going for. And that is all for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this made sense. I hope this was a coherent video. I don't know, we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, that's it, and I will catch you guys next time.